So in a perfect world, everybody would be ready the first time that we invite them to join us. But it's not a perfect world, and there are going to be people who take more time being invited to actually want to get started. And they do say the fortune is in the follow-up, so I would love to chat with you today about following up, because I really feel like this is super duper important, and 9 times out of 10, most of my signups come from people that I'm following up with who I've invited several times in the past. So I wanted to teach you a couple tips for following up so that you can effectively follow up with people and don't let people slip through the cracks. Now, I'll be honest, it can be very frustrating when you're talking to people and you're adding value to them and they're ready to get started, and then something happens and they're not ready to get started. But you have to remember, it's not always the right time for people when you reach out to them. So just keep that in mind and don't get frustrated. I know it can seem like super frustrating at the moment, but just think about how many times it took you to get started. And maybe you were one of those people who got started right away, and that's awesome. But not everybody is like that, so just remember that when you're talking to people. So if somebody says, like, no, actually, I decided now's not the best time, you don't want to, like, just drop them like a hot cake. You want to end that conversation on a positive note and just keep the line of communication open between them. It's totally okay. I understand. It's all good. I would just like to know, would you be cool with me following up with you for my next group to see if maybe all of those things are worked out by then? So you always want to ask for permission to follow up again. But you also want to let them know, like, you're keeping the line of communication open. You'd still like to be friends. You still like to see all of her posts in your newsfeed. Just end it on a positive note, because that's how you build trust with people. You don't want them to think you're just there because you want to get a sale, because that's so not true. You also want to be persistent, because, like I said, people are not going to sign up the first time you invite them. I usually have to follow up with people like 5 to 7 times or more before they actually get started. So you're not annoying, you're not being like a crazy salesperson, like, buy my challenge pack, please, please, please buy my challenge pack. Like, you're not doing that. You are following up, you're adding value to them, you're checking in to see if it's a better time. Like, hey girl, I just wanted to check in to see if now's a better time. I would hate to leave you out again. I know how badly you wanted to X, Y, and Z, insert their goals. So I just figured I'd reach out to see if now's a better time. That's all, not a big deal. Another tip is for you to take notes on the conversation. So if you're talking to someone and they say, oh, I'm actually pregnant right now, I can't, then I set a follow-up for 9 months later to invite them again, because I know that they're going to want to get back in shape after they have their baby. Also, I set reminders to check in periodically throughout their pregnancy to check in on them, see how they're doing. If somebody's not feeling well, or somebody has surgery planned, or somebody tells you, like, they're going on vacation, or they're going to be doing something fun, like, you want to take notes on that, so the next time you check in with that person, you can ask them, hey girl, how was your vacation? How was your time in Greece? Did you have a good time? What did you do? You can check in with them if they said that they're going to have a baby. Oh my gosh, how are you feeling? How many more months? I'm super excited. I can't wait to see the baby. Like, you want them to remember you're a friend of theirs and you're an actual person who's interested in their life and not just somebody who wants to sell them something. At the end of the day, you are their friend, and that's what friends do. They check in with each other and see how everyone's doing. Something else you might want to do is, if you're talking to somebody and let's say, for example, you're talking to them about succulent plants. I have one sitting here in front of me, so that's what I thought of. And they really love them, and you happen to see them, like a succulent plant, when you're out. You might take a photo of it and send it to them. Say, hey girl, this reminded me of you. Just super weird, but I totally thought of you when I saw this. Or things that you would do with your friends. Like, if people see things with pineapples, they send them to me. That's what you want to do. You basically want to just continue the conversation like you would with a best friend, because these people are going to become your best friends throughout this process. So talk to them. Oh, I saw this, totally thought of you, haha, like, super funny. Just remind them, like, hey, I'm a regular person too, and I love talking to you, and things like that. You may also want to send them an article. So if you're talking to somebody who says they have a sweet tooth, then you might want to send them a healthy flourless brownie recipe. Oh, I saw this, thought it might help you. Like, just being a normal human being and a kind person, doing things for others that you would want them to do for you, is totally important, especially for building trust and following up. So keep in mind, you have to be patient. you have to remember the time that you're reaching out to somebody may not be the best time in their life to get started, but that doesn't mean that a few months from now or even a year from now they might not be ready. So don't ever count anybody out unless they tell you, like, dude, you're just stop messaging me, or no, I'll never be interested. That's really the only time that I don't keep following up with people. Or if like they're just not nice to me, then I don't follow up with them either, but that doesn't really happen too often. I typically will continue to follow up with people until they either like tell me, no, stop messaging me, stop following up with me, or they decide to get started. And one more tip, it's also important that you're connecting with these people in between your follow-ups. So you don't want to just, every time you message somebody, you don't want that message to be, hey girl, just want to check in and see if you're ready now, or oh, are you ready to get started, and oh, do you want to join my challenge group now? Oh, you didn't want to do it last month, but how about this month? You don't want all of your conversations to look like that. You want to talk about other things in between, that you're getting to know them more in the process while you're doing that anyway. So it's a great idea to have normal conversations in between the invites too. It's just a nice thing to do. So a simple system that you can follow is, when I message someone, I invite them, I follow up with 2 days later to check in on them. After that, I'll check in 3 days later. After that, I'll check in about a week later, and then 2 weeks later, and I just keep extending it depending on how long it goes on for. So remember, the fortune is in the follow-up. If you're not going to follow up with somebody, then you're just letting that person sit in your inbox, and somebody else is probably going to invite them, and then you're going to miss out on helping that person. So don't ever not follow up. Don't not follow up because you feel like you're being annoying, because you're never being annoying. You're always helping people. And like I said, a lot of the people that sign up always come out of those follow-ups.